All of you, welcome back once again. I hope all of you are doing great. We got an amazing response in our NFT Marketplace project, which we have built on the channel. It's one of the biggest project we have, close to 19 hour. And I got an amazing response, amazing feedback. One or two students facing a problem related to the RPC URL. So I thought let's optimize even in further so you don't need to make any changes and everything would be working fine. But I would highly encourage you to follow the complete project. In this, I have explained every single thing about the front end and the back end and the contract, that how you can build custom smart contract for your NFT marketplace, how you can charge fee based on your requirement. So make sure to watch the complete project. You will understand every single feature we have included in our NFT marketplace. Now let's come back to the code and let me show you that what update I have done. So you can simply come back here in the blockchain coder. There you will find the source code section. You will come back here, simply scroll down, click on this get now, and you will come back here, click on this get starter file, and it will take you to GitHub. Here you will find the complete folder and file structure. So you can simply clone this repository and you can start building, in which you will find all the modern packages we have utilized. So you can come back to the packages and file. You will find that how we can utilize this hard economic foundation, all of this. So every single thing is explained in detail about this particular project. So make sure to follow it completely. In this video, I'll show you that if you take the final source code, how you have to do the setup. Once you will download the final source code, you will get the zip folder. Make sure to extract that zip folder, in which you will have this particular folder, in which you will have the complete source code of the entire project. So this is the project which you have to open in your VS Code. So let me quickly select. I'm going to open my VS Code. I'll go back to open. And I can go back to download, and here I have this one. So this is the one I'm going to select, open, and click on open. So I'm in this particular directory. Now let me give you a complete walkthrough of the folder and file structure, the code structure we have coded together in the project, and what update I have done. That's all you will find. So very first thing we have is the account, in which you will find the form component. Then we have the author, in which we will find multiple components like NFT card, profile card, author tab. Then we have the collection page, in which you will find the banner section, which is the reusable model. We have the collection profile and NFT card too. Then we have the component, in which we have keeping all the global component, like for handling the audio, slider, brand, button, category, collection, error, filter, follower tab, footer. That's all the component we have, which we have discussed extensively and we have coded together. Then we have the context, and this one is very important. So first thing, we have to come back here in the constants. And here you will find that we are importing our contract addresses from the environment variable. So in this way, you don't need to change anything in the code. So that's the addresses coming from our environment variable. Then we have our network configuration. So here I have done all the network configuration. So first I'm going to test the contract on Ethereum test network. Then we're going to do on localhost. If you want to configure any other network, this is the exact details you have to provide, like chain ID, name, native currency, and the RPC URL. And for the RPC URL, there are multiple providers. For the RPC URL, there are multiple providers which you can use, like Infura, Acme, or this one is which you can use. But I'm using this particular site to get the RPC URL, and that's what I have done the configuration. So you don't need to make any changes, just keep it as it is. First, we go to test our contract on the host CLI, then we go to test on our local environment. Everything would be fine. Don't need to make any changes. Then come back to the context management, and here I have made all the things dynamic, so you don't need to manually replace the addresses of the Pinata API key and secret keys and hash and key phrase. So every single thing is dynamic. So I'll show you what updates you have to do. So close this one. When you will deploy your contract, you will get the API, and that's what you have to provide. So this is the old API, but whenever you deploy your contract, you have to give the updated API. Now come back to the contract. In that you will find that this is the huge contract we have written to provide these marketplace facilities. That's all you can check, and you will understand it extensively when you will follow the complete project. So I'm charging this much commission when the user will create the NFT in the marketplace, but you can play around with this value. So this is the huge contract we have. Then we have the images which we have used in our front end side. Then we have the login and sign up. We have the NFT details. Then we have the pages. So we have multiple pages like app, about, account, author, collection, connect, wallet, contact us, index. You don't need to make any changes in any one of these places because every single thing is dynamic. Then we have the public, in which we have keep the important information, like here we have all the images which we have utilized in our project. So that's what you will find. We have the script which help us to deploy the contract. So you don't need to make any changes, just keep it as it is because every single thing is dynamic. We have the search page. We have the simple data in which we are testing while building the component before we actually feed the actual data. Then we have the CSS file which we have coded for all of the pages. then we have our subscription page, then we have the test, then we have the top creator, and here we have the upload NFT page models, which allow us to create and deploy the NFT. So just keep it as it is. You don't need to make any changes. Now, the main thing we have to do in the environment variable. So you can come back here in .env, and this one is the important section. Here you have to provide your details. So currently I'm going to deploy the contract on Ethereum hostly test network, and this is the RPC URL for that. There are multiple providers which you can use, but I'm going with this particular provider. I'm using the same URL as an optional because that's the configuration I have done in my hardhat configuration. And here you have to provide your wallet private key, which you're going to use for deploying the contract on the actual test network. That's the first thing you have to do. You have to get your private key, which I will show you how you can get that. Now you can come back to the second one called .env.local. And this environment variable is going to be for our front-end sides. We are using Pinata IPFS for uploading our NFT details, and that's what you will find. So you don't need to make any changes here. Like these are the endpoint which allow us to get the data or upload the data, but you have to replace your own Pinata API key and secret key, which I will tell you how you can create. Anyway, I'm going to provide you this in the final source code, but it has certain limit. After the limit will over, this particular API will not work. So you have to create your account and you have to get your own, which I will show you. So this is the two places where you have to do the changes. Now come back to the hardhat setup. And this one is very important. You have to understand that how you can do the configuration if you want to test the contract in your hardhat environment. So the first thing you have to notice that when you were testing using hardhat, you have to use the hardhat account. You can't use your real account for testing. Otherwise, it's going to throw an error. That's the first thing. The second thing is that this is the node version you have to use, because this particular node version is compatible with hardhat. If you use the latest version or any other version, is not going to work. You cannot be able to get the hardhat package as a combined to deploy the contract and test. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you have to do the installation. And the third thing is that you have to run the local node. So this is the command we have. I have done all the update. I'll show you. And when you will deploy the contract, hardhat will use this particular account as an admin, as a deployer. And it will have this much account when you will test the contract. So here you will get all the account which hardhat will provide. So you can simply import this accounts, simply copy the private key and import in your MetaMask, and you will have this account and you can make the transaction. And by default, hardhat will use this particular account 2266, and the same thing I have highlighted here. This is the network configuration you have to do in your MetaMask so you can able to make the transaction. And the second thing is that every time whenever you do the changes in the account, so when you are testing your contract using hardhat and you are switching from one account to account 2, you have to clear your MetaMask history. Then you can able to make the transaction, otherwise the transaction will fail. That's all I will show you in detail. Just wait. The next thing we have is the hardhat configuration. Here you will find that I have done the optimization. So we're going to test first on hostly network, then we're going to move to hardhat. And you can see we have used the RPC URL. The same RPC URL you have to provide, which you are providing here in the constants. Like if I'm deploying to Ethereum hostly, the same RPC URL I have in my hardhat environment as well, and in my config file as well. So that's the thing you have to keep in mind. Now, this is fine. Now come back to the package.json file. I have done the major update here. We are using the latest toolbox for hardhat, and we have installed these packages. It's exactly the same. And here I have done the optimization in the command. So you can simply run this particular command to start the node. You can run this particular command for deploying the contract locally, and you can run this one for deploying to Ethereum test network. And if you run this particular command, is going to simply remove all the folders. Like this one is the folder you will get, like node modules, package.js, like Next.js, cache, and artifact. I'll show you how you can utilize that. So this is the complete folder and file structure you will get. Now we're going to start deploying our contract and testing the application. So first I'm going to deploy to Ethereum test network. So you can come back to the environment.local. You will find that I have activated this. So when you will activate this, it will automatically select the Ethereum test network. But when you will activate this, it will select the localhost. And here you have to provide the contract address. So this is one is fine. Now we have to deploy our contract to get the address of the contract. So first thing we have to do is to get our private key. And here we have to provide that. So to get the private key, all we have to do is to simply come back here, open up your MetaMask. So I'll simply select this MetaMask and I'm going to give my credential. And I'm going to use the very first account for deploying my contract. So I'll simply click here, account details, click on show private key, and I'm going to give my credential. And I'm going to simply click on this, press and hold. and I'm going to copy my private key. You don't need to share your private key with anyone. So come back to your code, and that's what you have to provide. So let me quickly provide that. So finally, I have provided my private key, and you can see that I have enough fund in my account number one. So if I show you the balance, I have 7.8 ETH, and that is enough for me to deploy the contract. So in your case, if you don't have this particular fund, you can simply come back here in the blockchain coder, go back to the resource code section, and here you will have this tool called Get Now. Click here and it will take you to this particular website, and from here you can able to mine your own faucet if you don't have it. So it's pretty easy. All you have to do is to simply come back here, copy the address of your wallet which you want to use it and transfer the fund, and I'm going to simply provide it here. So you can see the balance I have is 7.8. I'm going to give my address and I'm going to click on this start mining. This process will take up to 3 to 4 minutes and is going to give you the faucet which you can transfer to your wallet, and you can able to use that to deploy your contract. So the process of mining is got started. You can stop any moment. So I would suggest you to have at least 1 ETH, and I already have enough ETH. So I'm going to simply show you that how you can transfer that particular fund in this. So let me wait for 1 or 2 minutes. When it will reach this 2, I'm going to simply transfer that. As you can see, the mining is happening and I got this much fund so far. So I'm going to simply stop the mining and I'm going to simply claim whatever I have mined so far. So if I open this one, right now you can see that 7.8 I have. Now I can simply click on this claim reward, and here I have to wait. Once this transfer of the fund will happen, I will get the notification. I can check the balance in my MetaMask. So just wait. And finally, the transaction is completed. You can simply click here and you will come back to the hostly scan, and there you will find that how much fund you have transferred to your wallet. If I open my MetaMask, you can see I have this much fund. So it's went up to something up. So I'll simply come back here and I have to simply switch back to my account, and you can see right now I have 8.048. So I got the foresight in my wallet, which is enough for me to deploy the contract, and that's how you can get it. Second thing is that you can see that I already have this network in my MetaMask. If you don't have this network, there is no problem. You can add this network manually by providing all the details. So if you come back to the code, if you go to the context, go to the constants, and here you will find the network configuration I have done, and you can simply provide all of these details. So let me show you how you can add this manually. So you can simply click here, edit, or what I can do, I can simply select the network and I'm going to delete the network. So I won't have this network in my MetaMask. So I don't have that network. You can see I have deleted it successfully. So if I want to add this manually, I can do that. I can click on this, add custom, and this is the exact details I have to provide. So I can come back to the code and I have to get the details. Simply copy this one, and that's the name I'm going to provide. Here I have to provide the RPC URL. So you can use any provider, but make sure to use the same provider which we have in our code. So I'm going to simply copy this particular provider because this is what I'm using, and I'm going to click on this add RPC, paste here, add URL. So I've added. Now I have to add the chain ID. So this is the chain ID I have. Simply copy, and that's the chain ID I have to provide. Then I have to provide the symbol is going to be ETH, and this one is an optional one. You can provide it or you can skip it. There's no problem. So I'll go with this same one. Click on this save, and this network is added. You can see it's going to fetch out the balance. So if I come back here, select this, and you can see this one is added and I have this much fund. I hope you have understood that how you can simply add this network manually. So we are done with this. Now I have enough fund in this particular account which I can use to deploy my contract. So now let's come back here and I'm going to simply close this one, come back here. Now we have to simply install the packages. So we haven't installed the packages. So we have to first install the packages and then we can able to deploy the contract. So let's close this one, open up your terminal. And first thing you have to check your node version, that what node version you have in your system. So if I show you my node version -v, I have the latest one. And when I will try to install the packages, it will not work. It is going to unpack the entire hard packages, which is not compatible with the project. So if you don't know how to install NVM stands for Node Version Manager. So I have already explained this particular one. So come back to the README file and there you will find that I have this particular video in which I have explained that how you can install NVM Node Version Manager to upgrade and downgrade your node version according to your system. So make sure to watch this one and install NVM. I have already installed NVM in my system. So if I show you NVM-V, I have this version. If you do, in your case, if you don't have this, you have to install the package. So now I'm going to simply switch my node version. So I'll type NVM use 18.17.1. I have this and I will hit enter, and it will going to simply downgrade my node version to the required one. Now, if I check my node version, you will see that I have the required one. Now I'm ready to install the packages. So let's do that. Simply type npm I or install, both will work fine. Hit enter. You can see the installation is happening. You have to give some time. Once the installation will complete, we'll have our node modules, which you can see, in which we're going to have the complete packages, all the dependency we have highlighted in our packages and file. So finally, we got the installation done, and you can see we are getting a couple of vulnerabilities. Simply ignore that because we are using hard hat and it requires the previous version. That's why it's giving you this warning and depreciated. But don't need to worry about it. It will work absolutely fine. Simply ignore this one and don't need to run this to command. If you do that, it's going to change the package module and you're not able to successfully deploy the contract. So let's clear our terminal. Let's check the node. We have the required one. Now we have to run the command for deploying our contract. So I already have taken my private key in the environment variable. So this is the command I have to run for deploying to Ethereum test network. So I can simply come back here and I can see the command, which is this one, deploy, and it's going to deploy to Ethereum test network. Simply copy this one and simply type npm run deploy, hit enter. Is going to simply create our artifact. So right now we don't have the artifact, but we got the artifact. In that we have the updated API of our contract. So whenever you deploy your contract, make sure to provide the updated API. If you are making any changes in the contract, it is going to change the API as well. So you should always provide the updated API. So here we got the address of our contract, which is deployed successfully. And if I come back to the context, here I have the old API. I'm going to simply drag and drop here and click on move and click on replace. So we got the updated API. If you make any changes in the contract, then provide it. Otherwise, it will work absolutely fine with the old API as well. Simply copy the address, and that's what I have to provide here. And that's the only setup you have to do for testing on Hostly. First, I will tell you to test on Hostly. After that, do the experiment for different network. So we're done with the contract. We're done with the network. Now you have to get your own Pinata API key and secret key, which I will tell you. So let me clear up it up. And now let's get this to key. For that, you have to come back here, open a new type Pinata Cloud. This is a powerful platform which allows you to get your own IPFS key and you can deploy to IPFS for absolutely free. So I already have my account, so I will simply log into my account. But if you are creating an account for the very first time, it will take up to 12 hours to get fully activated. So make sure to create an account. I'll click on this login and it's going to give me this dashboard. I already have my account, so I'll simply logged in. Here I am into my dashboard and you can see that I have a bunch of files which I have uploaded to IPFS. That's all you will find here. Now the one thing we have to do is to get your API key. Click on this API key and here you will find that I have already created a lot of API key. So what I will do, I can simply click on this new key and here I have to simply call the name. So you don't need to provide any space. So simply bring it back. You can call whatever you want. And I want to have the access of all of these methods. So click on this admin. And here from here, you can able to set the limit. So although this is my free account, so the maximum upload I can do in a single API is up to 1000, not more than that. And that's enough for testing. So once you're done with that, you can simply click on this generate API key and you have to copy. And that's what you have to provide here. Same thing, you can simply copy and that's what you have to. But when you will create your API key for the very first time, it's going to take up to 12 to 6 hours. So you have to wait. Once it's get fully activated, your account get fully verified. After that, you can easily able to use this key. But I will go with the same old key because once I will give you this demo, I'm going to simply delete that. Or it's a free account, so you can easily able to deploy a couple of NFT. Once it hit the limit, it's not going to work automatically. So we are done with this. I hope you have understood that what are the setups you have to do. Now we are ready to test our application. So I will open the terminal. I can check my node version one more time. So I have the required one. So you have to always check. Now I can simply type npm run dev and it's going to start the application on localhost 3000. So simply get this one. Now I can come back here, close this one, open a new tab, hit enter, and it's going to open the application on our local system. So here you can see it's automatically opening the network configuration. I can simply click on approve and it's going to simply do the network configuration automatically. So if I come back here and you can see that I already have this network configuration in my MetaMask. But what if you don't have this network configuration? So that's the feature we have also included in our project. So if someone don't have this network and don't know how to do the configuration, our project will automatically do the network configuration. So what I will do, I'll simply delete this network to show you how it's work. I'll click here, delete, and I have deployed the contract to Ethereum mostly, but I don't have that network here. So what I will do, the moment I will reload the page, it's going to do the automatic configuration. So it will open this pop-up model, add host key, and click on the approve. And this network will be added successfully with all the details. You got your balance reflecting. So every single thing is looking fine. I hope you have understood. If I simply log out with the application, click on this log out, I'm logged out. Now, if I want to simply log in, I can click on this connect. I can give my credential. And here I'm connected with the application. Simply reload the page. Now I'm ready to create my first NFT. So simply click on this create. And you can simply come back here. You can click on this upload file. And you can come back to the documents. I have this one, the blockchain coder. And it's going to simply upload the file. And here you can see the file is uploaded. If your API is not activated and if you are getting any error from Pinata, you can simply do the console log. And there you will find all the details about the problem which you are facing. Okay. So we have uploaded successfully. Now you have to give the name. So I can simply come back here. I can call it Marketplace. I can copy here, provide here, got the URL, and I can give a description. So I'll simply copy this and provide here. I can select the category. Let's give this random size. And I can set the price to, let's say, very low because I'm actually testing on a actual network. So I'll give this much price for my NFT. And I can click on this upload. And it's going to make a call. Just a moment. It's going to make a call to our MetaMask, and here we are making the transaction. You can see all of these details we are providing to our contract. Click on confirm and the transaction is in the process. Just a moment. This much fund we are charging. So this fund will go straight away to the admin. And finally, the transaction is completed and we have redirected to our search page. You can see we got the NFT, which is looking absolutely fine. I can simply click here and it will take me here. And I can see that you cannot buy your own NFT. I can simply come back here and switch my account to account number 2. Let me clear my MetaMask history because I have changed my account. And this is what you have to do whenever you change your account. So I can come back to the home page. Now I can see it's going to fetch out the balance. I can see I have to click on this connect. If you don't connect, it's going to simply reload that. So let's click on this connect and it's going to fetch out this. Click on this and here you will have the option to buy NFT. So I can simply click on this buy NFT. It's going to make a call to my Phantom, to my MetaMask, and I'm paying this much fund. Click on confirm and I have successfully bought the NFT. The transaction is in the process. Just a moment, soon the transaction will complete and you will have this NFT in your wallet address. So every single thing is explained in the complete project. Make sure to follow that. You will understand everything. So finally, we have bought the NFT. Now you can simply come back here to your account section. There you will find all the NFT which you will create. Here you will find all the NFT which you own. So this is the one which we have bought. If I click here and if I want to relist the NFT to the marketplace, I can do that. I can click on this list to on marketplace. I can set the price which I want to sell it. So I'll go with little higher price. Let's say 5 and I can resell the NFT. Click here. It's going to make a call and I can simply click on confirm. And this NFT will be available to the marketplace for other users to buy. The transaction is the pending. Once the transaction will complete, it will be relisted to our marketplace. So every single thing is working fine. I hope you have understood that what setup you have to do when you will get the final source code. All you have to do is to provide your environment variables and everything is ready and you can simply do the installation of the required packages and you can test the application. So just a moment, soon the transaction will complete and we'll have the confirmation and we can ready to test our application. It looks pretty good. So finally the transaction is completed. You can come back here in your author page. There you will find the NFT which you have listed. So if you click on this own NFT, there is no NFT. Here you will find this relisted. If you click here, you will find that you cannot buy your own NFT. So I hope you have understood that how you have to do the setup and how you can deploy to the actual Ethereum test network. This is what exactly you have to do. Hope that's clear. Now let me show you that how you can test using Hardhat. So I'm going to simply close this one and I have all of these node modules. So as I told you that, let me show you how you can use this command. Right now you will find that we have this node module, this one. We have this packet.json, which is this one. We have the next, which is this one. We have the cache, which is this one. And we have this artifact, which is this one. If I want to remove all of this and delete it from the project permanently, I can do that, because when you will start the application, it will automatically get generated one more time. So what I will do, I'll simply open up my terminal and I'm going to execute this command. So if I type npm run and I get clear, hit enter, it's going to simply remove the files. And finally, the files are removed perfectly. I hope you can understand, because this is very important. You have to know how to write this custom modules. So what I will do, I'm going to simply reinstall the packages. So let me show you my node version. So I have the updated one. So let me downgrade my node version to the required one. So I'll go with this, and I got the required one. Now let me install the packages. Here the installation is happening. Once the installation will complete, I'm ready to test my application in the local environment. So we are done with the installation. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply clear up my terminal, and I have to do the changes in few places. So I can simply come back to my environment variable, and here I have to do the changes in our localhost, because this time we go to deploy to our localhost. So I'm simply bring it back, and I'm going to comment this one. And this is the actual address which I have deployed to Ethereum test network. I'm going to simply replicate it, and I'm going to comment this portion. And here I have to provide the localhost address which I will get when I will deploy the contract. So let me check my node version one more time, because I have a different configuration in my terminal. So whenever I will close this, it will come back to the latest one, because that's the setup I have done. So I have the required one. Now what I have to do is I have to simply run this particular command. So if I come back in the packages.json file, you will find that I have this particular command node, and this is the command I have to execute. So I'll simply type npm run node, and this is going to start my node right up here in my terminal. I can easily able to provide the RPC URL in my network configuration in the MetaMask, and I can easily able to make the transaction. So Harded will give you 20+ account which you can use, and by default Harded will use this particular account. As I told you earlier, it's going to use this particular account for deploying your contract, and it is the admin. So when the user will create the NFT, all the fund is going to be received in this particular address. So that's the first thing. You have to keep this running. If you stop this, it will not work. So I'll simply come back here. Now let me show you how you can do the network configuration. So you can see these are the details. These are the details you have to provide. These are the details in your MetaMask. So if I come back to my application, if I show you my MetaMask, if I go back to the localhost, and if I simply do one thing, I'm going to simply delete it. If you have already localhost in your MetaMask, simply delete that. And let's add it one more time so you don't create any confusion. So I'll simply click on this add a custom network, and here you have to provide all the details. So I can simply come back here, go back to our context, go back to the constants, and here you will find that this is the exact details you have to provide. So I'll simply bring it back here, and we have to provide all of these details. This is the RPC URL for the local node. Simply copy that one, and that's what we have to provide. Click on this. I have added. Now I can give the name, come back to my code. This calls localhost, and I can give the name localhost. I have to give the chain ID. So this time we have to use this chain ID. Like there is another chain ID, but you can't use that one. Simply come back here and paste here. And it will also suggest you the symbol which you have to use. So you have to use ETH. And we have provided all of these details. So once you provide that, you can simply click on this save, and the network is added successfully. One thing you have noticed that I have this 2 account in my MetaMask, and all of these 2 account is my real account on the actual network. So I cannot use this account for testing my contract locally. I have to use the Harded account which Harded provide me here. So what I'm going to do is I will come back here, and I have already given you all the addresses of Harded. So this is going to be the admin. So let me bring it here, come back here. And this one is going to be the admin. So I'm going to simply copy the private key, and that's what I have to import. So I'll simply click on this, add, import account, give my private key and import. Click on this, connect. If I come back here in the token, you can see I have this much fund, but I have not in the localhost. So I have to simply switch back to the localhost. Click on this localhost. Now the moment I will do that, you will see I have this much fund. If I open this one, you can see I have this much fund, but when I will deploy the contract, this fund will go down. So for one more, showing the transaction, let me import the account number 4 as well, so we can able to create the buying and selling. I'll come back here, and I'm going to click on this, import, paste, import. So I have imported the account successfully. Now I'll switch back to account number 3, which is the admin, and I have this much fund, and I'm going to simply clear my MetaMask history. So this is what you have to do whenever you switch your account. So now everything is ready, everything is set. Now we have to do is I'm going to simply bring it up. The one thing I want to highlight here, that when you're adding the localhost network in the MetaMask, make sure this should be running, because when you will run this, then this particular RPC URL will be valid, which we have provided. If you don't run this, you can't able to save the network. Okay, so this should be important. So let me show you one more time what I mean. I'm going to stop this one, and what I will do, I'll come back here, open a MetaMask, and I'm going to simply delete this network. I want to show you everything so you guys not create any confusion. So I'm going to simply delete this one. And the moment, what I will do, I'm going to simply click on this add network, and I can say, let's say local host, and the moment I will provide the RPC URL. So I already have the RPC URL. If I go back to my, let's say constants, and I have this one RPC URL. If I try to provide this one, it will throw an error. I can simply click on this and I can paste the URL and save. You can see I'm getting this URL because our local node is not running. So you have to run the local node. Then you can able to execute it. So let me quickly check my node version that I have the required one. Let's run the command. So I'll say npm run node, and here the node is started. Now I can able to add it. So I can simply copy this one and I can simply close this one, open it up one more time, click on this add network, and I can give this local host. I can give this one, add RPC URL, paste the URL and save. Now it's working fine. I can give the chain ID. So now I hope you have understood the logic, because local node need to be running. Otherwise you can't able to add it. So I'm going to paste here. This one is going to be the symbol ETH, and now we can save it. Now the network is added. I can switch back to the local host, and you can see that I have the fund, which is really fine. Let me clear my MetaMask history. So everything is set. Now we can come back here and deploy our contract. So to deploy our contract, we already have the command. So we can come back here, and this is the one which we have to run for local. So supply npm run and hit enter, and it's going to simply generate the ABI for our contract, and we got the address, and you will also get the same address because when you will deploy the locally, you will also have the same address. So simply copy this one. I'm going to close this one, and that's what you have to provide here in the hard config file. This is the one which you have to provide. So we have provided the address for the local, we have activated the network locally, and we have all of this, which is looking fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply clear up my terminal. Now I can start the application. This should be running. You don't need to stop this. I'll type npm run dev, and this will start the application on localhost 3000. I can simply come back to my browser. I can reload the page, and you can see the application has got started. And here we have our application. If you open up your MetaMask, you will see it's automatically, the network is there, and right now you can see it's displaying this much fund. But the moment you will come back here, and you can see we have paid little bit fund for deploying our contract. But this is the fee we have paid is very less. That's why it's displaying here is the full amount. So this is how we can simply do the configuration and connect the network. So the moment I will simply logged out and open up the MetaMask, you can see right now I'm not connected. I can click here and I can simply give my credential, and it will automatically add it to the local host. What if I don't have this network? I don't want to do the manual configuration. So I can simply delete the network, because our application has the capability to do the auto configuration. So the moment I reload the page, is going to simply open this model, and I can click on this approve, and it's got added successfully. We got back here. Hope you have understood that what exactly we have done. Now we are ready to test our application. So first I have to clear my MetaMask history. Go to advanced, clear. Looks fine. Reload the page. Now I can click on this create. I can come back here, click on this. I can upload my file. So I'm going to simply click here, and here it's uploading. Again, if you face any error, make sure to do the inspect element. There you will find all the details about the error which you are facing. Generally, you will face the 401 or 403 error because your API is not activated. So you have to wait for 6 hours after you creating, and then you can easily able to use it. Perfect. Now I can give the name. So I'll say the chain coder. I can simply copy and give the same. Let's copy this URL, paste here. You can give your category. I can give this one, this, and I can give the price to 5 because I have enough fun. So click on this upload, and it's going to make a call. Here we have, click on confirm, and the transaction is completed, and you can see it's reloading. You can see this process takes a little bit time. Finally, we got it. You can click here, and here you are. You can buy your own NFT. You can come back to the home page, and there you will find the NFT we have created. That's what you will find here. NFT looks fine. So this is how you can do the setup in your actual test network and the local environment. I hope you have understood that what exactly setup you have to do once you will get the final source code and what exactly we have built. So I would highly encourage you to watch this complete project. We have more than 11 to 12 pages and we have built the complete application with all the features. So make sure to go through the entire project. You will understand everything. But when you will get the final code, this is how exactly setup you have to do. And the starter file is already given to all of you guys. So you can simply come back here, download the starter file and start following the tutorial. So that's the only thing I want to cover. I hope you have understood that what setup you have to do and what exactly you will get in the final source code. With that, I'm ending this. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.